Bisexual lighting. Okay, so I've made no bones about the fact that I'm trans. You know, I got my flag. I've got I got my fan. I've got multiple flags. I've got everything going on. I was I was diagnosed in February through a specialist provider, Gendercare UK, with gender dysphoria by a psychologist. I have that on my medical record. Fine, cool. Took a while, admittedly, but also I'm still going through the NHS, and I've been on the waiting list for their service for like 5 years now. 2019 through to today, 4 years. And it fine. It sucks. We knew it sucks. It's going to suck indefinitely. That's whatever. But I continued on. I went private. I'm like, fuck it. If I'm going to have to pay anyway, I need to start moving with this. I need to be me. And in June this year, I got diagnosed. Maybe July. No, not even diagnosed. I was already diagnosed. I got prescribed medication, right? Why is this camera on? So, July this year, speaking to an endocrinologist, and my blood work looks fine. Yes, my lipids are a little high, my triglycerides are a little high. That's because I'm fat and have been my entire life. Other than that, picture of health. Lungs of a 20-year-old, despite the fact that until last year, I was smoking 10 a day. I'm asthmatic, but still, like, a lot of space in there, a lot of oxygen transfer. It's fine. I'm super healthy, just overweight. So she's like, fab, wonderful. Okay, I can see all of this. Passed all of the tests. I'm going to prescribe you spironolactone, finasteride, estradiol, 1 milligram initially, sublingual, and then moving up to 2 milligrams after that. I'm like, fab, wonderful, excellent. I love this. I've been taking those now for 3 months. And a month and a half ago, that same specialist, that same endocrinologist wrote to my GP outlining why they had prescribed these medications, why they would recommend that the GP do the same. And my GP didn't read that fucking letter initially because it also required a blood test. So I had to chase him. It took me 2 weeks. He finally sent me for the blood test. That came back. Took me a week to get a hold of him to give me like the update on what it says. And he's like, okay, is this? And I'm like, fab, wonderful. Can you prescribe me the rest of the meds? He's like, no. Sorry, what? You can't give me the medication that I need to transition. Why not? He's like, oh, well, it's not licensed indication for gender issues. I'm like, motherfucker, finasteride is used for gender issues more than anything else. It is almost exclusively for gender issues. Spironolactone is the same, although that is also used as a diuretic. But they're not technically licensed for these things. And I'm like, well, that seems like a little bit of an oversight. But here's all of the paperwork from the NHS. Here's the thing that says, from the good medical practice, GMP, pause. So I write back effectively outlining, well, look, here are the listings on the formulary for the local area, right? And these both list spironolactone and finasteride tablet form as green. So that means appropriate for all primary and secondary care. No, they are not specifically licensed for the thing that I'm asking for, or that I have been diagnosed with and prescribed for. But here is the paperwork from the General Medical Council, which states you might be asked to to prescribe outside of the license, and it's fine. And here's stuff from the NHS going, yes, we accept that these are the logical things that go through. Like, hi, this is not a new thing. I mean, this paperwork here is from 2015, right? So that's nearly a decade old and was findable with a simple Google search. Like, what the fuck is wrong with the medicine in this country? So as of today, well, no, let's continue with that story. So because he wouldn't prescribe me with the medication that I've previously been prescribed, I had to see a different GP. So I went to the GP. I was like, look, I can't see Dr. Bird. Can I see someone else? And they gave me an appointment with a different doctor. Oh God, I'm going to have to bleep out his name. They gave me an appointment with a different GP and said, you know, you'll have to come down. You'll have to do X, Y, Z. Fine, whatever, cool. Went down there. I explained the situation. I showed her all of the paperwork and all of the explanation, everything. And she said, I completely agree. However, I'm a locum doctor. Dr. X is my boss. And as a result, there is a power dynamic there, and I cannot prescribe you these medications. That's two GPs who have not prescribed me the medication that I need in 11 days that is previously prescribed by a specialist. But where was I? Okay, yes. So the locum GP was unable to prescribe me the medication that has been recommended by the NHS, by a specialist that is part of their paperwork. And so I'm kind of at a loss, because my next step, having now complained to the practice manager, is to go to the one other GP that exists in this practice. And the issue then becomes, what if that GP also has an issue, right? Doesn't want to prescribe the medication that I need. So the advice from the General Medical Association, no, the General Medical Council, states, as set out by the NHS England in their service specification for gender identity services for adults, most recommendations made by a specialist GP to those to prescribe will be for medicines to be used outside of their indications approved by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. The advice continues, if you're a GP, collaborate with a gender specialist service to provide effective and timely care for your transgender and gender diverse patients. This may include prescribing medications on the recommendation of a specialist service provider. So, where are we at now? The past few days, I have put in complaints to the NHS, to the CQC, which is the Care Quality Commission, or Commission on Quality Care. But I'm very lucky, because I think my specialist came through. During the pause, I also had a knock at my door. I now have the medications I need for the next 3 months. And that has bought me time to find a new GP, someone who is not actively hostile to the process, and somebody who, when questioned on, hi, why are you doing this, doesn't give this fucking dumb advice. Yes, spirolactone does in fact mess with your body chemistry. That's what a medicine does. And yes, finasteride can cause depression, as can a lot of fucking medicines, including things prescribed for epilepsy and for antidepressant. The fact that finasteride states if you suffer this, then talk to your GP and come off it, is not the same as GP refusing to prescribe medications. GP refusing to prescribe the required medications. It is a ridiculous fucking issue, right? Like, where do you go from there? Because if you call 111, as I discovered, they will refer you back to that GP. If you phone them at a later time, 6:30 for instance, when their prescribers come on, they will tell you that they cannot prescribe the medication because it is not on a repeat prescription, which is again because of the GP. I have uncovered this one fucking loophole in the system whereby this one person, because he's a fucking idiot, gets to just say you're not allowed to transition. He's not a specialist. He's not done any of the required reading to be able to have an informed decision on this. He's just a GP who started practicing before I was born, 40 years ago, and apparently doesn't know shit about the modern practices for trans people. And I suspect that might be because he started practicing 40 fucking years ago. And this is the tip of the iceberg. There is so much bullshit, frankly, that goes on in the NHS with regards to trans people. Like, if you are not the right body shape, that can get in the way of you being able to get surgery and hormones and all of the other fun stuff. Doesn't matter that my blood work shows that I'm perfectly healthy, with the exception of being fat. Doesn't matter that I'm exercising more. Doesn't even matter, right? I've been losing weight because I need to eat more because of the hormones. My issue has never been that I eat too much, it's that I eat too little. But you know what my GPs always advise me? Eat less, move more. And I'm like, bitch, I've got ADHD. I move all the fucking time. This is not a two-sentence issue here, okay? But you can't even fight it, okay? Like, there are ways and means, but they take weeks upon weeks. They could take 18 weeks to investigate a complaint. When I need medication in 2, and the only way I can get that medication is through the guy who I'm now having to complain about giving me the medication. And the reason I'm complaining is because he's refusing. You see the blocker here. I am very lucky to have been able to fix this so quickly. And I think it's because I'm like a fucking dog with a bone. People don't realize that they need to not fuck with me. I am good at what I do. And what I do is get results. I implement change. I am a project manager. I know the law. I know biochemistry. I'm trained in chemistry with forensic science and toxicology. But all this is just me tooting my own horn. It doesn't fix the issue, right? British medicine is fucked. Like fundamentally fucked. This is broken. And nobody is able to fix it because it is systemic. And that is terrifying. Not just as a trans person who is experiencing this in the moment, but as an Irish person, as somebody who has, you know, friends who have various different health issues, as an Aspie, and as someone with ADHD. What happens if the next thing that they decide not to treat is ADHD? We are the current focus of all of these issues. But the fact that this can become an issue should be fucking outrageous. Should be fucking terrifying. And I know I've spoken to so many women who are like, yeah, we don't get listened to by GPs because we're women. I'm like, that is the fucking worst. And I don't know that I can come up with a way to fix it. It's a kind of depression ending here. Shit. But yeah, at least I'm like, at least I'm just keeping a track of this. So that in the future, if other people suffer this, they'll know they're not alone. Because fuck knows everyone I've spoken to has had similar issues, but no one's fixed the thing. And I feel alone. Hey, it's Editing Morgan here, and I'd like to say thank you for watching. Please hit like, subscribe. I am setting up a Patreon, and I will link that below. And just a reminder, you're not alone here.